It's over. An exclusive interview with Omid Scobie, whose new book, Endgame, is coming out very, very soon. Let's discuss it. If you're not familiar with who Omid Scobie is, he is a British journalist, and he also co-authored the book, what is that book called? Finding Freedom, Harry and Meghan, and the Making of a Modern Royal Family. And as mentioned in the beginning, he is also the author of the upcoming, and I can definitely say, explosive book, Endgame. And he is not holding back. This book is going to be released on November 28th, 2023. You can buy it on Amazon. I've already ordered my copy. I move on. In light of the interview, he released a quote today directly from his book. It states, and I quote, "William has prioritized his loyalty to the monarchy, even quietly cooperating with the UK press to undermine Harry," end quote. Obviously, we have to agree with that. I mean, you look at how this entire situation has played out and the brotherly bonds that we thought William and Harry had, in which Harry debunked in his memoir, Spare, clearly shows with the treatment behind the scenes that of William. And even further, we go into the documentary and we see exactly how William is. William is definitely playing the field, the wrong field at that. Omid also went on to say in this article, and I quote, because I think this is very good, "I saw Harry's release of Spare as his last attempt at telling his family how he's felt for years," end quote. And that is exactly how I felt once I finished the memoir. Not sure if you all have read it. If you haven't, it's a good read. You can still find the book on Amazon, Target, wherever. Oftentimes, these types of memoirs are really a way to reach out and say, look, I may not be able to articulate directly to you because you're not going to be able to receive it. But hopefully you will read this book or have your aides give you key points of this book, which I'm pretty sure they gave the negative key points, if anything. And maybe you can have some sort of feeling and understanding of how I felt and how I've been treated. But the problem with the British royal family specifically is they have no feelings. It's all about stiff upper lip, move on, and get the job done. The British royal family is not a family. It's a business. And even when you're born into it, you can take, for instance, let's take the Swedish royal family, for instance. You have Crown Princess Victoria, you have Princess Madeline, and you have Prince, what is his name? Prince Carl Philip. The three of them they're so close. And that translates in public. And you can tell that they were raised on love, which is very important. I think outside of, let's say, Sarah Ferguson, Lady Diana, Princess of Wales, and the minor royals, the main branch is not raised on love. They were raised on duty, and it shows. I mean, you see how the Queen with her children, even though it's been mentioned that with Her Late Majesty, she was a little bit more hands-on with Edward and Andrew, because at that point in time, she had already established herself as queen and she had a little bit more ability to take on a more motherly role. But because of the person Charles is, obviously, Charles was more focused on everything else aside from his two children. Therefore, effectively, they were raised on duty. But you had the late Princess of Wales come in and she raised her children on love. However, because of William's position, I don't know how he raises his children, obviously. But if you look at how Diana was with Harry and William versus how William is with George, Charlotte, and Louis, makes you wonder, at least. And what I mean is in public. Diana couldn't care less what people thought. She was running to hug her children. She was kissing them. Didn't matter. She was showing them love. And so I can only imagine that translated in private as well. But back to this story. Following all of the articles that came out whilst Meghan was a part or a senior member of the royal family, and then if you look at everything that has transpired after they left, and even up until now, it's kind of odd that people would even think that these two would reconcile and Harry and Meghan would move back to the United Kingdom and resume royal duties. Listen, it's not for me to say what Harry should or shouldn't do. There comes a time when you have to look back and really have a conversation with yourself and say, you know what? we might be blood related, but I'm not going to allow you to do this to me. Because if your own father will throw you under the bus to save the queen, and obviously William is playing the field as well, or excuse me, the game, at that point, for me at least, all ties in with the broken relationship. I can have love for you, but my love for you is going to be at a distance. And I feel like Harry is starting to get there, possibly. Again, this is all speculation based on everything that we know about everything. Another quote I want to mention by Omid Scobie within this interview is, and listen to this, I was talking to a source quite early on in the process, and they called Harry a defactor and said that was William's view, end quote. And to finish off the rest of this, he goes on to mention, and I quote, "These were two men who once upon a time were firmly aligned in their outlook. One of them had to move on to also protect the crown." Now, here's my opinion on this. The way that the British royal family goes to protect the crown is completely archaic. And William had the opportunity, especially as one of the children of the beloved Diana, Princess of Wales, to change the perspective and change the way that the British royal family handles things. But he didn't do that. His popularity, honestly, based on his mother's, really could have saved him. But in the process of doing that, it would have broken down his father and Camilla. The question is, who do you sacrifice? Your brother or your father? Obviously, we know who he chose. I have reiterated this many times. William continues to fail in his ability to change media perception of the royal family and the power of the media within the royal family. Do you know why? Both of them are a child of Diana. Diana is the most beloved member of the royal family, next to the queen. And yes, she was still considered a member of the royal family as the mother to a future king. And with that alone, the public would have always rallied around William, because it would have been Diana's boys. And that is the one thing the world will agree on. Diana's boys. And they would have stood beside him, meaning the public would have stood beside him and said, enough. These are Diana's boys. They are protecting each other and we are going to protect them. And boom, at one point, the media is going to be like, you know what? We ain't going to have nothing. Because it's the public that keeps them funded. And the narrative could have had the opportunity to change. But again, the ball was dropped. Anywho, comment your thoughts below. Let me know what you think. Sorry for the long video. Like, please repost or share. That really helps me out. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.